Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, while some of the attendees would like to join, we will get going with our today's boardroom talk in the interest of the time. So, once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to third edition of boardroom talk from Modefin. As you are aware, that Modefin is engaging with a series of the customers in bringing their expertise and their lessons in launching the digital initiatives of their banking experience across the competitors and the markets. So, in the line of this, today we are engaging with Universal Merchant Bank, Ghana, which is a premier institution. So, before we get on to the actual boardroom talk, I would like to set the ground rules very clear. Ladies and gentlemen, first I will be doing the introduction of our partner bank, which is UMB, and also I will give you the credentials about our co-host, who will be talking today. And after that, we will be engaging with the co-host in the boardroom talk on various relevant issues which are affecting the market and the digitalization and with respect to the Ghana and their experience, etc. So, if you have any questions, you can raise a request, and at the end of the session, we will take the questions and you can enjoy the session. So, thank you very much. And with that, let me get going with a quick round of introduction with Universal Merchant Bank, Ghana. So UMB is a premier banking organization situated in Ghana and which started in 1972, and they have a sizable presence in Ghana with around 30 to 35 branches and partner network with the ATMs, and also they have their own ATM network. And I would say always UMB is a young, energetic, and romantic bank. I will explain my reason for saying romantic in the later, but for sure they are young and energetic, and they are offering the various host of banking services, be it retail, corporate, SME, treasury services, trade finance, custodial services, etc. So they are playing in a very niche area of SME banking, corporate banking, and retail banking bit of it. So that's their background. And for me to say they are a romantic bank is because they always try to romance with the customer needs and the banker needs. Miles, if you allow me to say that, right? So just an example is that when they launched their first digital channel called Speed App, so they came up with the innovative idea of not charging for the data services. So they did a tie-up with the telecom operators, and they told that who are using this app, don't charge them for a data. They did a trial run for a shorter period, and they are wanted to perfect it for a longer period now. So that is one of their customer romancing idea, so that they can hook the customers to the system. And number second, I really I freshly remember still, the memory is very fresh in my mind. When I visited the bank, when I had some work, so the MD took me to the they call it as a UMB business center, and I was surprised to notice that they created a business center for their corporate and SME customers, wherein any businessman who has an account with the bank can walk into their business center where you get a host of services. The moment you get into the your business center, you have a secretary to address your needs, be it booking your flights, or be it rescheduling your events, or calendar, or talking to someone to reschedule something, or maybe doing some work, etc., or having your own meetings with your visiting delegation, visiting customers, everything. There is a facility for everything. And I was shocked to know that, even though I am not a customer, and these are the kind of privileges they are giving to the SME corporate customers. So this is again romancing with the customer needs and initiatives. Right? So that's why I always say that UMB is not only young and energetic bank in Ghana, but also a romantic bank in Ghana. Nice. And due to the spirits, so they've been doing a lot of innovative implementations in Ghana, and digitization is being very much part of their agenda, and that's where our co-host Mr. Miles Hagan comes on board. A bit of background about Mr. Miles Hagan. He heads delivery channels at UMB, and he is directly responsible for the digitization and the digital strategy of the bank. So what are the digital initiatives we see coming from the UMB? He is the man behind it. He is the man working behind the scenes to ensure that customers get 24/7 services truly what they mean. And he's a seasoned banker with around 15 years of experience. His experience mainly spans across branch operations, customer relationships, product innovation, product launch, go-to-market, and new product development like remittances, etc. Which during the course of the webinar, we also learned how it is helping the UMB and also the defining the product as well. And personally, he is a graduate in economics and political science from the University of Ghana, and he has a high diploma from IPMC in the networking and hardware field, and he has a DBA diploma from CIS Business School. So that's his personal credentials. And also based on his credentials and based on his the contribution in the banking industry, he's been having a honorary roles of being a member of the Financial Inclusion Forum set up by the Central Bank of Ghana. So Miles, very good, impressive credentials, and I would say a lot to go. Welcome on board, and thank you for being our host today.
It's my honor and pleasure.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, a bit of background on the main product which we will be discussing today, that is SpeedApp. SpeedApp is the digital channel launched by UMB in Ghana, and if I remember, SpeedApp was launched in 2018 December, around that period. And it's like most of you are aware, SpeedApp is a complete end-to-end mobile banking, digital banking app addressing the retail, SME, and corporate needs of the UMB. So if I can quote what Mr. Miles has said sometime back while launching this SpeedApp, and he said that UMB SpeedApp has helped the bank provide the most avant-garde digital mobile banking services for its customers and has been a key element in its digitization strategy. Those are the words quoted by Mr. Miles, and I'm repeating it for your clarity.
Yes.
And true to the spirits of what he mentioned, today, after around 18 months of their launch, I can see that UMB is delivering the results. And if you look at the performance of the SpeedApp, what they are launched in the market, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, they launched this in 2018 December. So with all the go-to-market issues and other things, etc., so they were in the market for around 18 months. Today, if you look at it, they have around 85 to 90,000 customers on the platform, and they're onboarding an average of around 500 customers per day. So that means on a peak days, they're onboarding around 500 new accounts on the platform. And around 2,000 plus transactions are done on the platform every day, which means close to 5% of the active customer base are transacting on this platform. And in a month, if you look at it, they are transacting 15.5 million United States dollars, which is a phenomenal amount considering the volume of the transactions. So, ladies and gentlemen, you imagine a situation where around 50 to 60,000 transactions need to be processed in a branch, accumulating to 15.5 million United States dollars. Then you can imagine the kind of operational work it involves, the kind of cost which involves to give this customer service at the branch locations. So in a way, so with the SpeedApp, they are able to achieve this on the mobile app without significantly increasing their operational cost. So that's the whole thing about this digitization. I hope I'm right in saying that, Miles.
Very much correct.
So, and we also looked at kind of the services which most of the customers uses on the SpeedApp. So from their understanding and from the close look of the kind of transactions which most of the customers uses, so these are the very relevant transactions, are the most used transactions on the platform. So needless to say, the top of the chart is cordless withdrawals, which also brings the convenience to the customers and also reduces the operational cost to the banks. And also fund transfer, scan and pay, and bill payments and all those things are top of the chart. At the same time, there are a host of services which customers are inquiring, like investment request, forex request, loan request, and opening a new accounts, all those things. And very recently, I am glad to share with you that bank is also launched micro saving, where part of their sustainable development goals, they are also encouraging the saving culture among the Ghanaians. So that means they can form as a groups or individuals, they can save the money and they can pool the money and they can use that pooled money against their own goals. That's the whole idea. So these are the some of the services which, so I would say these are the most frequently used services on the platform. And needless to say, Modefin is the company who has provided this technology to UMB, or this platform to the UMB. And Modefin is a global fintech company providing digital banking service solutions to the banks and financial institutions. So we would say, we always passionate in saying that with the Modefin platform, the banks will have a chance of infinite banking possibilities. So meaning to say that with our platforms, we help the banks and financial institutions to digitize their operations and their service delivery, and to compete with the customers during this digital age. So that's about Modefin deliverables, the credentials, and we are a global company with a headquarters in India, presence in Kenya, Ghana, and Dubai, and we are coming up with a representative office in Malaysia and Philippines as well. We are a global workforce of around 130 to 140 employees spread across the geolocations, and we have a lot of first to our credit. As a company, we are the first to launch, multi-channel banking system in Africa. That I would say in Kenya, needless to say, and that was in 2011. And we are the first to launch agency banking in Kenya, and we are the first to launch cordless withdrawals in Uganda, and we are the first to launch mobile-based account opening again in Kenya and Africa, and we are the first to launch micro saving and micro lending in East Africa, and we are the first to implement M-Visa services in Africa, which is spearheaded by Family Bank Kenya, and we are the first to implement mobile wallet in GCC, which was done for Giant Telecom in Bahrain. So there are a lot of first to our credentials, and we always love doing something which is not there in the market, or something unique which people are afraid of doing it. So that's the reason today, we have a very greatest success in the continent, in the African continent, because we are focused on Africa market right now. And also today, if you look at it in a span of 10 to 11 years, we are working with 60 plus banks across the continent. So I would say in any country you go, you will find a reference for Modefin, and the references could include the biggest banks, small banks, medium-sized banks, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, whatever you say it as. So that's the credentials of Modefin. And ladies and gentlemen, today, as I explained the beginning itself, so we will be having a boardroom talk with Mr. Miles Hagan, who is my co-host, and we will be talking about host of issues with and around the digitization and digital banking, and of course centered around the UMB. So, with all your permissions, ladies and gentlemen, we begin to talk the boardroom. And if you have any questions, kindly reserve yourself and raise a request in the chat window. Definitely, we will take it up and we will come back to you. So, Miles, welcome on board.
Thank you, Mr. Amar. Great to engage you.
Thank you. And even before we become serious on our discussions, let me take a moment to say belated wedding anniversary to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, great.
I see the energy recharged fully.
Yes, fully.
Very good. Very good. So, Miles, the first and foremost thing, if I may ask you that. So, I given you a brief background about UMB, and I given you a brief background about Speed App, and it's a credentials I presented to the audience over here. Did I miss anything, or you would like to add anything on either on the UMB background or on the Speed App background?
Well, great. Thank you. I would say UMB is always excited to partner key institutions like yours. And as we are going through the very first of your credentials, I was just excited because I remember when we launched the Speed App, the cardless was amongst our most exciting features because it was arguably the first in our country. And I remember when we launched, we did a very nice demo because we launched on the premises of our head office at airport. And we generate the token, and we had two key personalities go into the ATM terminal, cash out, and bring it to show everyone. And that was just exciting. I always say it's always great to be innovative, and it's something UIB wants to push more innovation, more digital transformation. And we're excited to be partnering with Modefin.
Oh, very good. Interesting. Thank you very much for mentioning our credit as well, Modefin. Thank you. We are happy to share the credit with you.
Nice.
Yeah. And so if I may ask you, Mr. Miles, so how is the experience of speed up so far? So it's almost 18 months. So how is apart from the excitement what we have just mentioned, so how is the experience and journey of speed up so far?
Thank you. I would say the journey has been very exciting. Before we even launched, there was some pre-launch, and you and your team have been with us throughout the entire process. And I would say, in terms of the growth in numbers, it's been very exciting. In terms of the quantum of transactions, astronomical. In terms of the revenue growth, all those have been within our projections. And we know there's a lot more we can do. And one thing I always like to say about the speed up, it's a living product, it's a living service. So unlike certain products where once you complete, that ends it. With speed up, due to competition, due to enhanced innovation, and due to the new innovations coming up almost every time, there's a need to always upgrade and need to always include a new service. And that's why just a few months ago, we were able to include scan and pay. In some few weeks, we are looking at pushing our agency banking, all with your team's development and support. So, in terms of the growth trajectory, I can confidently say we are happy with what we are seeing, and we know there's a lot more to look out for in the coming years.
Oh, very good, fantastic. So, do you see speed up as a cost center or as a profit center? Unlike most of the bankers, they say that channels are a cost center for them. But I mean, I'm talking about the way back about ATMs or other things,
Yes.
internet banking, other things. But now with the speed up, I wanted to know: do you still see it as a cost center or as a profit center?
Great. For us, it's become a very good profit center. Um, in terms of when we started, due to the infrastructure, and the bank actually had to do some innovations when it comes to before the development of the app. We had upgraded our core banking service, and the vision was clear that we wanted to push into digital transformation. So I remember at the point of even the scoping, all those took a lot of time. And as we introduced new products onto the features we wanted to roll out, it became more exciting. And the excitement has been sustained because, in terms of the earnings, the profitability, we are seeing the numbers. And I would humbly say that even within our team, due to the numbers and the forecast of what we want to push, it has become necessary for us to even stand on our own and to be decoupled from retail as has been for the past 2 years. So we are not standing under retail, but a new department has been created as virtual and transactions, and that is above channels. So it means we are moving forward into a scope where we are looking at more digital transformation, more virtualization of our services. And that means definitely profit is going to be a game changer. And we are working hard to make sure we can push the earnings of the business and then even topple that of treasury. But that means a lot of work, but we know we can get there and we are getting there very, very soon. So the
Oh,
profitability definitely in our scope, yes.
uh, fantastic. I mean, I'm excited to hear that word profit center and profitability.
Yeah.
So, meaning we can charge you more. Right. So, Mr. Miles,
Yes.
I mean, it's very interesting to notice from you that
Yeah.
you are saying the speed up is a profit center for you. It's not like a cost center for you. And what is more exciting for us is to hear that after launching speed up, you almost created a new department, to look after speed up.
Yes.
So while we don't want to ask you or know what is the profit numbers you are making, we are
Mm.
certainly interested in knowing that what is this department tasked with, what is the role of this department, what is the composition of this department, so what are the aims or the tasks of this department, so that could be a good learning for my audience today.
Sure, that's great. Yeah. As part of the bank's 5 year long term plan, and that was initiated just a year ago, we had a clear scope of moving into digital. Now, amongst the offerings were to look at how do we push the strategy? Is it to focus on developing the digital under a retail, SME, corporate space, or to have a certain unit created specifically to look at creating either opportunities, creating products, creating services to support the businesses. And that is actually the scope of the virtual and transactions. So at this point, it's more of having a specified, specialized unit with a team that are well equipped to develop products and innovations, to also support in terms of strategy driving with the bank. So as the bank focuses on pushing SME, we look at within the SME scope, what can we introduce as a service offering? And that's why Speed Up has been a good service for our SME customers. A lot of them are using it. And if you look at the app, our key service is the funds transfer, and especially the telco wallet to account and account to wallet. Those have been very active because the SMEs may write a lot of checks, they may have a lot of e-funds sitting on their mobile wallet. They need to put it into the UMB account, and then the cash checks would be duly honored. And these are the transactions we've been seeing. Why we even decided to push for your team to help us with Scan and Pay was because it had gotten to a point where we want to drive cash light and eventually cashless. So if we drive Scan and Pay using mobile, very soon you don't even need to even use your card. You can put a phone next to another phone, swipe, and then payment is effected easily. And that's also supporting our SME, and then it's also going to help our corporate entities. So all these are what virtual and transactions are supposed to push. And the team directive is so clear. The director too is working very hard to push us to the maximum. And we know we are going to get to the very top in our ecosystem and beyond.
Oh, which is very good to hear from you. So many ideas. So
Yes.
and needless to say that to execute all those things, you definitely need a department to look after it.
That's right.
So it's very happy to know that the department creation, the tasks of this department, the focus of those department. Because what I have seen, Miles, some of the banks when they implement these channels, so they just tend to forget after the implementation and they expect that technology to run by itself. But I am against that one. So once you implement the technology, obviously you need to have someone to look after it and ensure that it delivers what is been required to deliver. Otherwise, it's just as good as not implementing that one itself. And I am glad that you being at your side and already tasked with these things and having a dedicated department. That's why we see a lot of requests reaching out to our office also on various innovations, other things. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
So these are all very good to hear from you. But what is more interesting to know is also that what are the challenges you faced while launching this Speed app? So are there any challenges you faced while launching, and is there any learning which our audience can take it from you?
Sure. I would say as a product or even driving the strategy, it commences with a need to reorient staff and then also to reorient our customers. We've had customers who would take an advantage, come in just to say hi, and it's a beautiful relationship we have with a lot of our customers. So they come, get a cup of water, drink it, check their balance, and then walk out. And that has been the transition. Now we have developed a service where you can actually check your balance any time of the day. So it got to a point where certain frontline staff would be wondering, will our job be sustainable? Will we be able to keep doing what we have to do? Because even having a customer walk in to check a balance can help you cross-sell. So in terms of the development of the app, we took all those into consideration. And that's why we're able to mimic most of the existing frontline services onto our Speed app, and to make it possible for our staff to use that as the easy selling opportunity. Beyond that, we also had to do an update of our customer data because the bank has been in existence for a very long time.
Right.
And in times past, email addresses, although was taken, it wasn't really necessary to put that much information because most banks then were not really sending emails for anything. Everything was possibly SMS, which even came in the latter bit. So we had to now do some customer updates, especially since some customers may have revised their email addresses, maybe using a new thing. So in terms of challenges, it was more around reorientation, and we did that very well with our existing staff. We also had to re-educate our customers to help them understand why we want them to use these. And I would say it's good we were able to do this 2 years prior to COVID, because if we still had a lot of our customers needing to walk into the bank during the partial lockdown in Ghana and also the panic wave for about a couple of months, it would have meant customers who wanted to transact would not know what to do till they get a chance to visit the bank. But having the speed up available, it meant you can still transact, still push funds, still settle payments, settle salary processing. All these have been
Right.
made possible with the app, and we really appreciate that great support and the innovation we've been able to collaboratively put together.
Oh, thank you. It was good to hear that from you. So, while these are one side of the challenges, mainly, let's say, I quantify it as a functional or the business challenges. We're also very keen to learn from you. Is there any technical challenges? Because for any channel system to be successful, like speed up, it has to be integrated with the various systems, be it your core banking or maybe the third-party systems like card management system or maybe the regulatory framework systems, etc., etc. So we are also very keen to understand, was there any technical challenges which you guys has faced it part of part of this journey?
Yes. In terms of technology, because we had launched our core banking, we're using a different core banking software. Then we launched into T24, and that was completed some few years ahead of our speed up launch. So, in terms of the development, I would say even now, key on our scope is our cyber security and safety. You realize when a bank is closed, in terms of functioning under a closed loop where you open within a specified time period, possibly 8 to 5, you are able to at least keep your eye on what's happening. And most of the transactions are happening physically, so you can easily be sure if it's a check that's coming in, etc. But once you decide to open up to more innovations, it means you're getting to a point where you're not using that closed loop, but a virtual system, which can have its attendant issues. So technically and operationally, with our solid IT team and then your team, we're able to develop a good product. Now, in terms of cybersecurity, we now had to also include a team to be monitoring our cyberspace to ensure that within the ecosystem, the bank platform is safe. So, in terms of challenges, I won't say it as a challenge, but it gave us an opportunity to now get into ensuring that we have the requisite uh, so the PCI DSS, ISO, and then also have a solid cybersecurity team to ensure while the app is working 24/7, 365, we can comfortably sleep, knowing very well that while it's working, no one can do anything untoward. So it's been a very, very good experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is good. And I heard about you saying PCI DSS certification, security, and other things. So in the interest of the audience, I wanted to know what are the relevance of the fraud in these digital channels, and are you facing anything, and what are the measures you are taking to ensure that you are doing this and you are
Great.
protected well in the fraud framework?
Yeah. So I'll say we've come a long way, especially within Ghana. We used to be more cash dependent, but you realize there was a certain wave where most banks were moving into virtual, digital, etc. And as we were doing that good offering, we also have a few who also think of taking advantage.
Okay.
So a bit of fraud and etc. I'm on the Bank of Ghana
Okay.
Standards Automation and Technology Working Group. And amongst the key deliverables was looking at how we can secure ourselves from fraud. And you realize it's become something that's been growing consistently. Let's say initially
Okay.
it was a few instances, and this was cash, loan checks, etc. Now you're having people using our technology. So you have certain people using the Momo or using bank platforms, etc., to try and then hack into the system. And why we had to push, especially the certification, was because it was very critical to ensure that technically, operationally, we are secured. We also needed to put a team in in hand to ensure we are meeting the key requisite compliance when it comes to these. And I would say it's good we have done these because ultimately, when it comes to safety and security, we have some level of assurance. The good thing is you and your team have also gotten the requisite certification. So if both parties are secure, likewise are other third-party aggregators, then it means even if these fraudsters are in the system, there's some level of certification, some level of protection, and it even gives the customers more assurance. The customer will want to bank with a bank that he knows in terms of safety standards. You have met all the requisite
Right.
and it's very, very good, and it's helping us so well. So it's an aspect we are trying to push, and I believe we will sustain it and then share more collaborative ideas to drive the success of the ventures. So maybe just to give a little bit more insight, Mr. Maizov. So in terms of the deliverables, we are looking at enhancing the scope into the future. And we got into a point where we need to do a lot more in terms of safeguarding our system. And it's important to at least do a lot of collaborations. So most of the new partners we sign up, we are all working hard with them to ensure all the platforms are secured. And the good thing is we've also driven a lot of information dissemination to our customers. So we let them know that in these times, even if they are transacting with your virtual device, ensure that you are keeping your PIN and password safe and secure. It's also important for you to make sure you don't compromise. Certain people try not to, maybe out of not knowing so well, often tend to put their PIN and password in a place that can be easily accessed by someone. And it's been amongst the things we've been trying to educate a lot of customers about, trying to let them know, keep your PIN and password secure. If you get a pop-up and you know it's not a transaction you've processed, possibly confirm with your PIN, quickly try and then notify the bank. And we've also enabled our contact center to be very active and vibrant when it comes to ensuring that the safety of the customers are taken as very paramount. So in these instances, we have our customers who are quick to call in case he tries a transaction, it fails. He knows who to contact. He either contacts his relationship manager, contacts the call center, and the call center will quickly let us know. And immediately we're able to do what we need to do to ensure that the customer's safety is definitely assured. Beyond that, we are also doing a lot of social media. And quite recently, we decided during the August Mobile Money Month to also send some tips on fraud awareness, etc. Because you can safeguard your technology platform, but beyond that technology safety, if customers and if other people who are not even customers but may be in the ecosystem are not well educated, they could have instances of being unable to do the right thing at the right time. But if we all decide to share certain tips, so maybe monthly tips, weekly tips, social media tips, keep your password safe and secure, don't share your password, all these things can make a big difference in ensuring that we are safe and secure. And these are some of the innovations we are pushing to ensure our ecosystem is safe and we see all the best coming out of it. So we know indeed the future looks very, very bright, and we are pushing more collaborations along that spectrum.
Hey, sorry, Miles.
Yes, Mr.
My
Ahmad, don't worry.
apologies, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
sure.
Some network issue at our side. So,
No problem. No
yeah.
problem.
So sorry,
Fortunately, it
Miles.
gave me a chance to share some more, and I'm sure I've done enough justice to our technology discussion. Yes,
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very
yes.
much. Right, right. So, and the other thing, Miles, I would like to take on, so you have mentioned that an average of around 500 customers you are onboarding, right? So,
Yeah.
so which is a very impressive number, considering the fact that the app is in the market only for 18 months closely. So, what is the success formula behind that successful onboarding? Is there any lessons we all can take it from you?
Sure. I would say it's not been an easy journey.
Mm-hmm.
One very good thing is, as part of our seamless onboarding, we put in 4 key credentials, which was the date of birth, phone number,
Mm-hmm.
email, and then your name, just for us to at least confirm that you are you, especially for customers. And
Mm.
like I mentioned earlier, why we needed to even do a data update was there
Mm.
were instances when we migrated data from the previous core banking into T24, certain
Mm.
contact information went
Mm.
off.
Mm.
So we had to at
Right.
least engage a lot of customers. And that's why, although we've got good numbers, in our scope, per our projections, we should be doing double this number. Now, in terms of mobile banking, that has been the setback. But I'll say mobile wallet has caught
Mm.
on very well. And even
Mm.
before we got into COVID, interestingly, during the COVID season, that's when we had a lot more customers quickly running in to sign up for the app. In the prior
Mm-hmm.
years, very few people were really into it. We were trying to get them on and all. But now it's become a cliche. You're either on speed up or you're totally off. So
Mm.
it's been a key area we are pushing. And in terms of strategy, we want to do more. For next year, we are looking at getting at least 1 million new customers signed up onto the app, which will mean a vigorous campaign, a very effective agenda to make sure at the branch level, at the in terms of even we doing our own campaigns, social media, etc. All those seamless onboarding processes are put in place to help us get the large numbers within a short time. So ultimately, in summary, I would say it's about having a clear target, effectively utilizing your media platform, social media, SMSs, etc., and then making it easy for customers who are not able to onboard to give you feedback, and then you try and then find ways of getting them onboarded. And we're also trying to go to the lower level, so beyond the app, to also launch our USSD to help
Mm.
us reach a larger audience and then help offer even better services to everyone in the country and beyond.
And Miles,
Yes,
this is something music to our ears, if you ask me
nice.
honestly. The
Mm,
reason being, you just said you are planning to reach 1 million customers by 2021. So,
yes.
so my experience is that most of the banks in Ghana, be it a tier two, tier three, so banks, so their total customer base is not even 500,000, or 500,000 is an higher side, I would say, right?
Mhm.
So except one
That's
or two banks. Whereas you are talking about exclusively having a 1 million customers on speed app. So I
yes,
mean, what is the strategy behind it?
yeah. That's a good question. I can't say it all, but in terms
Yeah,
of
obviously.
our plans, yes, some of our
I'm sorry.
plans are around getting, so it's going to be one to one. Fortunately, because of your support, we've been able to push our Omni channel, which has our speed up connecting with our internet banking. And then we've also set up an Omni channel target. So that alone is very appealing, not just to our retail, but our SME customers are super excited. Our corporate customers just can't wait. We've had instances where, the app when we launched, we didn't want to even provide the app services to a corporate client because their mindset
Mm-hmm.
was they should want to use internet banking. But we are even
Mm.
getting requests from our corporate clients for the speed up. So it means we are going to get to a phase where we'll have to do a top tier speed up for these corporate clients, which will mean
Mm-hmm.
they're taking care of a certain number. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the mobile wallet customers are customers who may be banking with UMB who want to have a wallet service on the app, and then the
Mm.
many who are not yet UMB customers. And
Mm.
these are the people we are targeting. So just for my other compatriots on the other banks on and the fintechs and telcos who all have partners, we are looking
Mm.
at making the app so sweet. Like you said beautifully, we are using a romantic way to get not just our customers, but other bank customers who love using the app. And once they are on, we are all adding to our numbers. So
Mm.
it's going to be our retail space the numbers we have, as well as SME corporate, and then the mass market, who are the financially excluded, because you have those who are not banking at all, in addition to those who are banking. So all these together will help us meet our target by close of year, God willing, 2021.
Wow, very good, fantastic. And in your successful 2021 journey, what you are planning, can I say that the lot of street vendors or merchants whom I see in Ghana or Accra for that matter, got of it? Because most of the time I visited in Accra, I used to wonder, these so many street vendors or merchants across so many streets. Is there
Yes.
any bank addressing their requirements? I'm sure that traditional banks cannot take care of their requirements, cannot onboard them as a customer,
Yes.
owing to the KYC or other regulations, etc. But speed up could be one idea. So I'm wondering, will there be a part of your consideration as well?
Very, very excellent question. And I would say I'll just give that hint that yes, it is.
Oh, thank you.
The nice thing is within our scope, we now have the USSD almost ready. We also have our scan and pay, and then we also have agency banking, all developed with your support. Now, the plan is every vendor on the street is a potential SME prospect. At this stage, possibly they don't have the working capital, but you're looking at this concept of catch them young. So it means catch them early, even when they don't have the capital at a certain level, and then try and then use that to ensure that they are with us. Once they're banking with us through the agency banking or even scan and pay, the excitement is when the traffic stops. Instead of maybe now someone trying to look in his wallet to find his money, and that person has taken a scan and pay, he can quickly scan, get the
Right.
offering, and then scan, and then the money moves to the person immediately. So it's swift, no delays, no
Exactly.
at all. Now, these are
Exactly.
the people we are looking at. So these plus the market people, plus the general merchants, plus the other industry players. So those who are doing small businesses, tabletop, getting them to see why we want them to partner us as agents to do this small business, get some small commission on the side. And once we get all of them together, you can imagine the flow.
True. True. Very true. So it's a impressive imagination and impressive. Sorry, you want to say something?
No, please proceed.
Okay, so it's an impressive story to listen from you. So I mean, it's a fantastic approach and product which you are innovating for the street vendors because end of the day, we are all working towards one common thing called sustainable development goals as decided by the United Nations. So the financial inclusion is also talks about the same thing, right? So if these benefits can be passed on to this bottom of the pyramid people like the street vendors or no KYC customers, etc., and by that itself we are bringing them into the banking system and enabling the credit facilities, etc., which is a fantastic initiative. And I must say, kudos to you, Mr. Miles, and kudos to the UMB team. And Miles, if I can tell you this honestly, having 1 million, I mean, you're planning to reach 1 million customer by 2021, and you are planning to include these merchants, etc. also. That means, am I wrong in saying that down the line, Speed App can be a digital bank by itself?
Well, for us, it is. And with the transactions you are seeing, if you do an analysis of our in branch as against digital, we are now doing a percentage of around 85 to 15. So it means 85% of our large transactions are being done on our digital platforms. And
Wow.
interestingly, the 15 that is, let's say, the walk-in, some of them are the mobile money customers who possibly don't have the device to be able to connect it on speed up. So they come in with a physical cash to come and cash out or even do vice versa. And then a few of our remittance customers who necessarily, due to the number of partners we have over 13 MTO partners. So the plan moving forward is to enhance the technology flow, which will mean remittance customers will now have funds coming in digitally for them to cash out, and then maybe they can even use cardless to go to the ATM and then cash out, which will mean now we would have moved into almost 95% in terms of transactions being done digitally or virtually as against,
Mm.
then it
Mm-hmm.
opens up our banking space to do more innovative things. And these are some of the tactics we are pushing. Definitely not all will be shared here, but it gives you the vision we have and why we are pushing to ensure that our collaboration with you gives us the best in the competition.
Oh, it's fantastic and good to hear these things from you. And my humble request, Miles, when you reach that milestone, please kindly acknowledge Modefin as a partner for you.
We'll definitely do that. Why not? Yes, that's awesome.
Thank you. And Miles, the one quick question I have is when you say that you want to achieve 1 million by 2021 and include all these merchants, etc. How is market prepared? I mean, is the Ghanaian customers are prepared to accept this kind of a rapid digitization? And also now we are under the pandemic phase. So how is pandemic accelerating this growth, or is there a pandemic contribution in this acceleration as well?
Mhm, mhm. Excellent. I would say in 2019, we had this Act 987, which is the Payment Systems and Services Act
Hmm.
2019, and it was developed with a clear vision of driving digital transformation in Ghana.
Hmm.
Beyond that, the government also put in some digital initiatives to foster the right environment to help us get into a cash light, into pure cashless system. So, in terms of
Hmm.
regulation, I would say the
Hmm.
Bank of Ghana and other key regulators, NCA, they've all worked out the requisite paperwork,
Hmm.
requisite regulatory drive to help us get to that level, which is fantastic.
Hmm.
The second is the players, being the banks, the mobile network operators, the fintechs, the aggregators, the payment service, all these partners are also doing a lot more collaboration in the middle tier. So it
Hmm.
means regulatory at the top, middle tier collaboration and cooperation, where there's a lot of idea sharing. One beautiful thing about even the push and pull, that's the funds transfer service on the app, is it was developed even before the interoperability was launched. But you
Hmm.
realize government pushed interoperability to make it possible to move funds from the mobile networks to bank and vice versa. So that gives a clear view that within our ecosystem, we've transitioned from those two entities working in silos to a certain level of collaboration. Now, the
Hmm.
final step is to ensure, in terms of safety and security, there is some level of enhanced collaboration to ensure that our cyber system is very, very secure. So we have a lot of cyber security, data protection, all
Hmm.
these are being done to ensure that within Ghana,
Hmm.
even if we open up fully, we are very safe. Customer
Hmm.
data is secured,
Hmm.
and then transactions can be done without any concern of it being used fraudulently. So I'll say indeed, Ghana is very prepared, and just keep your arsenals ready because definitely a lot of good offers will be coming your way. And as that
Hmm.
happens, you realize a lot more banks are doing more collaboration than competition. And that's what will help our ecosystem and the economic.
Hmm. Understood. So it's very interesting, and this may be the reason, Mr. Miles. Whenever I go to other banks in Ghana, I face a very difficult situation. They ask me very straight and plain, "What are you doing for UMB now? What are they
Wow.
doing?" So it puts me in a difficult situation where I cannot
Yes.
open frankly and say, "What are you doing?" Rather, I can
Yes.
tell you this is what
Yeah.
happening there.
That's right.
So no wonder why every banker is taking speed up very seriously, and
Mm.
everyone is more curious about it. And I'm very honest in giving credit to that because we are working with some of the banks, as you know, in Ghana, where the implementation is ongoing. So they I mean, no doubt they give a due respect to the speed up what we've been doing in the market, and
Mm.
so with that, it's a great work, I would say. and
Nice.
um, and needless to say, these are all very good to hear. So from the
Mhm.
market side, from your side as well. But more curious to know, was there any setback in reaching this level, or reaching this stage?
Yeah.
And was there any learning because of these setbacks? So that would be very good indication for the audience today, for their
Mhm.
benefit as well.
Yeah. So I'll say yes, indeed, it's not been easy. Um,
Hmm.
I would say the very first was maybe we underestimated the trajectory within which we'll get a lot of customers on, and then the type of transactions we'll be recording. Because within the very first 6 months of fully launching our app, we actually had to avail more resources because the quantum of transactions was increasing on a daily basis. Now, while that was happening, we've also transitioned to a point where service stability, and the good thing is your team has always been available and on hand to support our IT team, likewise our other fintech partners. And why we are seeing all these is because the transactions are growing. While the transactions grow, we also have a few who may try to infiltrate with a different agenda. So a few fraud-minded people may also come in, trying to sanitize the sanity within our systems. And a few instances we've had to have a few of our services disrupted. So either it has to go offline for some time for us to at least work out a few things, and vice versa. But in all these instances, we've been able to do what we need to do. Quite recently, our pool service was offline, but it's now back on. And the reason behind that was there was so much happening, and I'm sure you are aware of the issue in Uganda with some cyber security issues here. So all that made it clear that we needed to also check, recheck, and then ensure our app is well positioned so that in case anything comes up, we are fully secured. So I'll use this opportunity to apologize to any customers who may be on, to know that in case the service is disrupted, we always work hand in hand with your team to get it back on. And moving forward, we've availed enough resources to ensure that speed up will be fully optimal and they can transact at any time of the day and enjoy the best of our services and more.
Good, which is very good. And when you say some fraud event in Uganda, one of our friend, Mr. Joseph Kaseja, is from Uganda. He works for DFCU. He is on our audience list today. And hi, Mr. Joseph. We'll take your question very very soon once we end this board talk session. But just to greet you. And also, Mr. Miles, when you talk about these frauds and other things, it's in the previous conversation as well. You mentioned that you adequately have the cyber security team in place, and there are various protocols, checks and balances built into the system, etc., so that you go in peace for sleep and you come back peacefully to the work as well, so without disturbing it, which is very good practice, I would say. So honestly speaking, this pandemic, and you know that most of the governments and the countries are following the lockdowns or restricted work schedules, not being the fully functional people available in office, etc., etc. So this has becoming a window of the opportunity for fraudsters or for the hackers, I would say. So I am being following up with most of the clients, and I have been closely monitoring and seeing and hearing a lot of frauds happening in not only in Uganda, but most of the countries for that matter. So even India is not exception to that one. It's only that few countries, few banks, agree to report the frauds happening, and few countries, few banks don't agree to report the frauds.
That's true. That's true.
So that's only the difference. But if you look at it, so there is a fraud happening everywhere on these things. And the pandemic actually has given a very large window of opportunity for the fraudsters or the hackers to do these things. Exactly. And it's a one good initiative which you have done, in terms of setting up the cyber security team and building the adequate checks and balances in the ecosystem, so that if something goes wrong, you are immediately notified and you know what to do next.
That's right. That's right.
Which is a very good initiative, so I must appreciate for your initiatives, yeah.
Wonderful.
And the next thing is, Mr. Miles, you've been member of the Financial Inclusion Forum set up by the Central Bank of Ghana, and we have seen a lot of digital banking initiatives taken up at UMB and also the competitive banks as well in the Ghana. So how is the financial inclusion landscape shaping up in Ghana, and what is that UMB is doing in specific to address that goals?
Sure. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'll say there's a lot happening. I happen to be on another committee, that's the Ghana Association of Bankers, and it's more of the Payment Systems Committee. And within the scope of the deliberations have been how to foster enhanced collaboration between the banks and then make it possible for us to get the financially excluded into our space.
Mm-hmm.
One very nice thing I always say is a lot of customers want to come to the banking hall, but most are often skeptical because they believe you must be dressed in a certain way to walk into the banking hall, and realize certain banks, due to that, have revised their in-branch landscape. So certain things seem more user-friendly, easy to use, etc. There are also a few who are not banking because they feel if you don't know how to read or write, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. So the thoughts are around how to make it very flexible and easy. And I'll say UMB, being one of the banks under Ghana Association of Bankers, has a clear strategy when it comes to this. So when you walk into any of our banking halls, there's often a meter or greeter who would welcome you, and through the engagement, we'll get to know which service
Mm-hmm.
you're coming to do. And in case they need to offer you some extra special support, they do that. Beyond that, we are trying to make our ATMs very user friendly. And the beauty about the speed up is anyone who can even get the app to download will see how user friendly it is. And these
Mm-hmm.
were all developed with a clear mindset that in order to drive financial inclusion, let's make it less complicated. So you
Mm-hmm.
see the English very clear, and in some instances, some other banks are rolling out WhatsApp banking, etc., which is also within our scope. And in that, you even get a local language. So if you don't know how to read or you're afraid to even speak in English, you have a certain translation for you. And these are all some of the ideas being promulgated to make it possible for us to drive enhanced financial inclusion. Why we decided to also launch agency banking was to move banking beyond our
Mm-hmm.
edifice. Someone will say, you look at a bank branch, it's very, very imposing, huge. So
Mm-hmm.
why not make it possible for someone to walk into an agent outlet, which is a nice shop set in the market area, less complication, less uh, forms to fill. Once customers get into that mindset that, oh, this is what banking is about, it's very easy, similar to how mobile money flows. Then the person will
Mm-hmm.
say, then the next time, I don't want to go to just the agent, I'll walk into the the banking hall and I see for myself what happens there. And these are some of the ideas being pushed by our management and the board to ensure UMB is not just seen as big SME, big retail, big consumer banking, or big corporate, but we are
Mm-hmm.
making everyone know that we are big on everyone's big business. So any business you do is big enough for us, and we would love to partner you or be your banker as a customer. And that's being driven very well to ensure we get the financial inclusion working for all of us astronomically.
Which is fantastic. And maybe if I can recall my opening statements, this
Mm.
very well suits with a romantic bank as well. So you want to romance with
Yes,
every potential banking customer in Ghana.
exactly. More romance with UMB.
Which is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing, Mr. Miles, is
Yes.
these are fantastic to hear from you. But
Mm.
there are fellow bankers, and and there are fellow enthusiasts who wanted to launch digital services, who want to learn from you as well in the audience forum today. So the one advice, or let's say the advice what you give to these gentlemen who want to launch this kind of a digital services, what is
Mm.
that you give to them? What are the experience you share with them?
Okay, good. One thing I'll say is it's important to have a clear strategy in mind, develop the requisite parameters, and then
Mm-hmm.
look out for the right kind of partners. I would
Mm.
say when Modefin came to us, it was a perfect time because the bank was looking at driving digital transformation. The question was, who would we work with to get to that level? And
Mm-hmm.
by God's grace, we got very good engagement. You were also fully available. Your team was on hand to support us. And even now, every project we do, you have the full complement of the team to support, either on call, off call, holidays. You are always ready, and it's important that we do that. So I would say, as banks look at developing new products, offering more innovative services, ultimately it's about support and enhanced collaboration. And it's important for us to work with our regulators. It's also important to work with co-bank partners also important to work with other fintechs, aggregators, and innovative players like yourself so that we can share ideas, develop novel services that once we launch, it gets everyone talking. One secret is when the speed up was launched, we know we had about 3 banks doing a quick revamp of their service offerings because they detected some new innovations on the app. And that excited us because it meant the competition is now ready to play ball. So now they may have done certain things, which we're also looking at, which we know with your support, we can also incorporate. So now it's about a lot of idea sharing, also a lot about enhanced, effective collaboration. Once we do that and do that very well, we'll get the numbers we all want.
Oh, which is fantastic, and the key words you mentioned is cooperation and collaboration. So,
Yes.
which is good to hear from you. So, whereas you being a banker, you are not talking about the competition. Whether you
Yes.
are asking your fellow bankers or the fintechs or anyone to say, "Come forward, we are willing to cooperate and collaborate with you." So, meaning to say
Exactly.
that you as a banker, you are open to share your infrastructure, you are open to share your ideas or your systems what is available and collaborate with the banks. And
That's
this will definitely, Miles, will give an opportunity for the UMB also. See, there are a lot of small, let's say tier 2, tier 3 banks in Ghana,
yes.
so who may not able to invest so much of money onto the in the technology systems the way you are investing, but they still need the kind of technologies or the products and services what you are launching. So
Mhm.
probably for them the best approach is collaborating with you, and
Yes.
that way they benefit and you also benefit.
Excellent. Yes.
Very good. Very good to hear that from you. And one last parting question from my side, Mr. Miles, is we've been
Mhm.
talking very good about the products and services and about your vendor, that is ourselves as well. But I am more keen to hear negative things of Modefin as well. Why can't you spare a few minutes on that?
Uh, okay. Well, I think for us, um, it's been more positives than negatives. If
Okay.
there's been any negative sentiment, maybe that's not even within your power. I remember it got to a stage we were wondering why India had a number of holidays because you hear, oh, there's this holiday, we'll be offline, then this other holiday, and that's maybe it's part of it. But in terms
Okay.
of your team support, it's been very, very good. It's been very exciting. What we are looking for more is enhanced support. And one thing about us is we always want to be the first when it comes to thinking, and that's amongst our key deliverables as we move forward. So we always love to let partners like you know that even as you're thinking about it, give us a hint so that we'll be your first, let's say, guinea pig in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Let us try it and then see how it works. Don't wait for it to be tried by another partner before you say, okay, let us go to UMB. We are willing to be used to see how those innovative services can work. Because our key principle moving forward is we want to transform our banking digitally and we want to be very innovative in our service offering. And that won't be possible with us on our own. We need to open up the loop, get your feedback, and then help us get the very best out of this collaboration. So more good
Fantastic.
for you, less negative, but we know that the future is brighter. So we work hard together to be the best partners in that space.
Fantastic, which is very good to hear from you, and we are pleased that you have such a high credentials for us. Thank you very much for all the high credentials what you are placing, and we really look forward to prove our innovative mental in ensuring that we are the right partners for you. So,
Nice.
as I said in my opening remarks and during the course of our presentation as well, so we always love to do something which people are afraid of doing it. We want to challenge the status quo.
That's it.
So that's what brings the best out of us. And for that matter, we are very happy to thank UMB, and we are very happy to work with you and to share your ideas and to listen to you and to take this into the market as well. Yeah.
Nice.
So and coming back to your complaint of too many holidays in India, unfortunately or fortunately, we live in a system called unity in diversity. You know, so our holidays are predominantly based on satisfying every ethical group or ethnic groups, or the religious groups, or there are so many religions in India and groups in India, right? So all the things, and we are an equal opportunity employer, and we are not biased on based on religion or gender or anything. So we are equal opportunity employer. So obviously there are so many, multinational, multi-religion, multi-ethnic groups working with us in our company as
Exactly.
employees, right? So we follow that strict system. So
Mm.
my apologies if someone is not able to serve you on the particular
Don't
day, but
worry.
we'll definitely take that. And also, Mr. Miles, it
Yes, sir.
gives me a very good point to inform you, right? So very recently, maybe 1 week to 10 days back,
Mm.
we as a management was having a discussion around how do we improve our service delivery, and how do we improve our post production support. See, what
Right.
happens is that the pre-pandemic, I would say, so our own employees used to be in customer locations, so the support, anything, the guys are available within the country, they can use to go to the customer site and look out the issues, etc. That there are people at your bank as well. My employees was in
Yeah,
your bank as well.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
the when the pandemic was declared, all those things, so is everything is becoming remote, right?
Mm.
Everything is becoming remote, and there is a lot of emphasis placed on the remote delivery, other things. So with that in mind, we are having a brainstorming session. How do we do this? How do we do the improvement on this thing? So
Mm.
I told my colleagues that, look, assume a situation where our employee cannot travel for next 2 years.
Yes,
That's the situation placed on the table. And at the same time, the customer needs the support immediately as you speak.
that's
So,
right.
what is the kind of infrastructure, or what is the kind of a standard operating procedures we need to build so that the customer service is not impacted?
Mm.
So we took that as a challenge, and my colleague suggested that we already have a post production support department, but we want to enhance the department and ensure that 24/7 customers are supported and SOPs are maintained, and SLAs are adhered as per the guidelines what we are going to share with you. So with that in mind, very soon you will hear from our colleagues about the improvement in the support procedure, what we want to do to
Wow.
ensure that such holidays or such things will not impact you.
Wonderful. That's
Okay,
music in my
so
ear.
so so
Thank
that's
you.
my side, and so that's more from my side, Mr. Miles. And unless you have anything to share openly with the audience today, we are almost coming to the boardroom talk. Probably,
Okay,
if we have no more questions, probably we'll go on to the question and answer from the audience.
sure.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's more of we have our values, which is speed. So speed, passion, excellence, ethics, and then diligence. And we as a bank want to stand on those to offer the best services to all our customers. So the name behind Speed Up was not deliberate. We want to be very fast. In terms of innovation, we also want to be fast. In terms of
Mm-hmm.
digital transformation, we want to be faster. And we know
Mm-hmm.
Modefin is already fast. So you can imagine when you have two very fast institutions working together, we can be the fastest globally. So the future for us is very bright, and we look forward to doing more things together to beat the
Oh,
competition and
oh,
make everyone super satisfied.
oh! Thank you, Miles. Thank you very much, and very kind of you. And
Right.
on the same note of speed, what you are explaining, coincidentally, there was a question from one of our audience,
Wow.
and fortunately, that was the first question, and I will take that question. And that question is all about speed again. you know, and
Interesting.
it's interesting indeed. And
Yeah.
before I take up that question, let me make an announcement to the kind audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I switched off my video because when I kept the video on, for some reason it was pushing me out of this webinar. So since I want to be very much part of this webinar, I just switched off the video. So looks
Okay.
like my photo is more presentable than my live stream. So so let's go on. So
Yeah.
so the first question was from Renuka Mani, and her question is, which you can see, How has speed been able to provide financial inclusion in your customer? And for speed to work, if you need the internet, then does this have work in all the areas?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good one. The good thing is our telco partners are working hard on that. So we used to have certain locations where the cell sites were not, let's say, robust. So certain places, even to get a voice signal, it wasn't too good. But at least the little I know, especially within that space, there's a lot more improvement in that. For us, in terms of speed delivery, it's been an area that we are really driving. And like you rightly mentioned, why we even at the onset decided to do a data free campaign was to try and then work out of data and then see how we can offer the speed up services. And it really caught on. A lot of customers were excited about it. Possibly as we celebrate our third anniversary into 2021, we may bring it back again. But ultimately, I would say our ecosystem is growing. So there could be a few challenges here and there. But the good thing is, as banks, we try and then look beyond what the obstacles are and then see what new things we can bring out. And I know that's also happening likewise in the telco ecosystem. So you never know. Very soon, I've seen a few products where you don't even use data. You actually use some is it bundling and voice signaling, etc. So certain new innovations are coming up where even if the cell site has low signal, it's still going to be possible for you to execute transactions seamlessly as fast as you want.
Fantastic. Which is good to hear. I'm sure customers will be delighted when those things happen really in the market. Yeah. And there's another question from Chaitra. Her question is, are you planning to add cashback concept to encourage customers?
Wow. That's
People are innovative. They are giving
well,
business
I'll
ideas to you.
say that's beyond my job description, but it's well noted. It's a nice one. I believe it will be easy for us to do that, especially with our bank assurance service. So we can explore with our partners, especially the customers who are paying their premiums using a speed app. We could do something around that. And aside data free, which I think is a very good campaign, we do a few rewards on the side. So we'll add cash back to our potential executing things within our scope. Very, very nice idea.
Sure. Thank you. And Miles, there is a gentleman called Nicholas Bompong, and he has a question. There is an anticipated growth within the digital commerce ecosystem in Ghana. How is UMB positioned itself to become the bank of choice in terms of partnering with third-party systems to scale this growth?
Well, great. That's a very, very good question. And it's very, very true because even looking at the act which was set up, it was to make it possible for our ecosystem to grow. And UMB, that's why we have decided to actually have a clear department, which is a profit center, as the driver of our digital innovation. So the virtual and transactions department has a clear scope. And the plan is to make sure the bank is not just well positioned, but strategically aligned to push our digital offerings. So, in terms of collaboration, I believe if it's Nicholas, if I heard the name well, yes, there are a
Yeah,
number
that's
of
right.
key partners who will be engaging. And the good thing is, every vendor has something new to offer. And what also we see is some vendors have it all. So it's going to be about who you partner with and then certain innovations you can incorporate. Beyond that, most banks are also looking at, and some already have it, where you have your in-house digital uh, products or transformation team who are actually developers. So if there are certain things that you don't want to worry your vendor partners on, you can internally develop and then roll out. So in terms of UMB and our preparation, we've started already. It's already been launched, and we are moving with a lot of speed and vim to ensure we as a bank is well positioned, not just strategically, but tactically, to ensure customers see UMB as a go-to bank when it comes to anything digital or innovation.
Very good. And also, you clearly mentioned about cooperating and collaborating with anyone, third parties. So,
Yes.
so it's all about that, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there is another question from Mr. Amar Shinde, and his question is, what is strategy of UMB to expand scope of digital payments to the other consumer industries like transport and adopting the latest developments like QR code, etc.?
Good. Very, very nice. The good thing is we already have Scan and Pay. GIPS, that is the one of the Bank of Ghana subsidiary institutions that's supposed to drive digital transformation, has also come out with very innovative products. So we have a QR payment service and proxy pay and other services, all rolled out by GIPS. Now, moving forward, we are looking at driving those enhanced collaborations. So we are looking at introducing certain new innovations in the app. So aside scan and pay agency banking, we'll be doing something around QR payments, which nice thing about scan and pay is also a QR service. But what we want to do is beyond the Modefin generated QR code, we'll see if we can more like synchronize it with the universal QR imagery, which will mean we can use our app to scan other bank QR images
Exactly.
and then make payments seamlessly. Fortunately,
Exactly.
it's among the discussions we've had with your team. So it's in terms of execution, it's very, very easy and workable. And then we'll move beyond that to the next level where we can actually, and I would say a service like Cardless has gotten great appeal, especially in the last few months, because if you want to give someone a gift and due to COVID, there's a limit in terms of, and that's within Ghana because you have to use a UMB ATM. It makes it difficult for you to send it to him physically or using any other option. You can send the cardless token. The person walks to a UMB branch and then cashes it out. We are trying to look beyond that to get into a regional ecosystem where through your team's collaboration, we could have QR codes that can be used on other bank terminals, even outside Ghana. And then we get into the remittance business collaboration, where it's possible for someone in Ghana to use UMB and then send funds to someone in Kenya. So, in terms of the prospects, very diverse, very, very open. It's all up to us to look at it, plan, and then execute on a case by case basis based on the potential. So, I believe there's a lot to do
Wow.
in the coming months.
So, Miles, interestingly, you picked on a topic which we are working right now in the market. So we are working on a concept called Modfin Link. So that's
Wow,
the code name. So the
nice,
idea is we wanted to connect, speed up with all the customers where Modfin working across the region. So be
fantastic.
it, idea is so that the cordless withdrawals generated on a speed up can be accepted across the 60 plus customers in around 25 countries
Wow, wow.
outside Ghana as well and within the Ghana as well. We are talking about. And if you look at Ghana, we are talking about two big banks in Ghana working with us. So that means those two banks will control 50% of the ATM network in Ghana.
Fantastic.
So
Wow.
when we enable this for you, you can ensure that the cardless withdrawals of speed up can not only work on UMB ATMs but also these partner ATMs and also outside Ghana as well. It's like how you withdraw your cash from a Visa card or MasterCard.
Oh, this is great. And I'm glad I'm
So
hearing it. So it means we'll also make sure we expand our ATM coverage
exactly,
so that we have more than the other partner and then we can get a bigger portion to buy out of the pie.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. So I will share more details on this one. So then probably you can look into it. And one last question from one of my colleagues. So he's very keen to understand what difference do you see in current digital initiatives in Ghana when compared to the traditional mobile banking services which were there before?
So the difference we see between the present mobile app.
Yes. The question is the difference between the present digital initiatives which bank is doing versus the
Okay.
old mobile banking apps available in the market.
Oh, okay, cool. So that's also around strategy. So it's not everything I'll be able to share, but you realize certain banks, for instance, were not rolling out cardless. Now, virtually every bank has gotten onto that. So it means there are certain, let's say, innovations or initiatives which may be rolled out on a case-by-case basis. And what we've been doing now is we've been using a Power BI tool to analyze the transactional trends of our customers. So we are using that to see which of the areas among the services on the app is appealing to a lot more customers. Once we see that, we try and then develop a better service out of that. So, like I said, cardless, we've seen the benefits, which fortunately you and your team have even thought of. So, just imagine if we're able to get a cardless e-token, which means in our case that it expires 24 hours, we may have to expand the scope because assuming I'm traveling to India, it means my cardless should be able to last for maybe at least 5 days. So, in terms of innovations, what we are seeing is everyone is doing a step above what you have. So bank assurance, beyond premium collections, do I add another potential to make it more exciting? Then we do that. If it's scan and pay, beyond the normal scan and pay, can we make it more universally acceptable? If it's forex rates, do we make it possible for a customer after confirming the rates to book and make a trade transfer? So these are some of the innovations we want to add up to what we have presently on our app. And we believe once we do that, it will make us more competitive. Because when we launched, we were, some few banks tried to kick us, but we've sustained our momentum. But now it's gotten to a point where we must do more than sustaining and be the lead of the pack. So with your team support, we know it's going to be possible. We just have to share ideas, work hard together, do a little bit more investment in it. But once we make the money, we'll all be smiling because the customers will know we are the bank to go to.
Fantastic. And while these are some of the insights for us as well, in terms of the strategy, what bank wanted to do, and definitely we as a company will be willing to collaborate with you in achieving these milestones, and
Wonderful.
that would be our promise. And a small suggestion from our side, Miles, having heard what you are planning to do by 2021, I'm sure when you move on to the 1 million customers and etc., and maybe you should think of improving on the, using the chatbots, such similar things, so that the customer enhancement experience can be enhanced a lot. So that's my suggestion. And I'm not very sure if you have some time, because there is one last moment question from Tandin Wangchuk.
Sure.
So if you want to take it, he says,
yes, please.
We could see that UMB mobile banking app has personal finance management, which helps to track and manage money utilization. Can you explain this feature? So that's what he's asking.
Okay. Can you say the last line? I didn't get that.
He wanted to know more on that feature of the personal finance management.
Okay, personal finance management.
UMB. Speed
Okay,
up.
okay. Yes. It's true. And actually, when we scoped the services, the reason why we incorporated a number of those features was because we wanted it to be possible through that one app to virtually plan, execute, and monitor all what you're doing. So when you go onto the app, in terms of our locational details are there, in terms of even contact people, all that information is there. Now we've incorporated the service which the team helped us do, which is a feedback, which has also been automated. So we're able to get sentiments from customers, either positive or negative. And then based on that sentiment, we're able to enhance certain opportunities on the app. Beyond that, we are also doing a lot more when it comes to being able to track your, let's say, customers' transactions. Quite recently, we had one of my team members, Michael, visit India, and he returned with the best feedback about your customer management tool. And it's a service we are pitching to help you also help us roll out, where it will be possible for customers to see that maybe today you've done about 90% of your transactions to telecom wallets, and then airtime was 1%, and then the rest was bank transfers. That insight alone will help customers know how they're managing. And then we could go a step further of even giving suggested insights. So maybe if we realize about half our customer base are doing a lot more Momo transactions, we can tell them, have you used your UMB wallet put 1% of maybe this amount in your wallet, get this interest. So there's a lot of nice things we are all thinking around. And like you rightly mentioned, we'll be giving you and your team clear insights into the deliverables. But I hope that as we share, you also give us the possible solutions you think we can use. And once we do that, we know we'll be in the top and will sustain the top position for a very long time based on customer feedback and then customer experience.
Fantastic. So I hope that we answered Mr. Tandin. And if you need more details on the personal finance management, you can get in touch with any of our colleagues, or maybe you can leave your details, so they will even talk to you. And also,
Yes.
Mr. Miles, there is a gentleman from Faisal Islamic Bank, Sudan. He is Mr. Mufti Muhammad. He is the GM Agency Banking and Delivery Channels. He would like to thank you personally for the valuable information what you provided.
Wow. It's
Yes,
an honor.
and also there is a gentleman from Uganda, Mr. Joseph Kasaija. He is the DGM at DFCU Uganda, who's looking after micro saving and micro lending, and he would like to thank you.
Wow.
So,
Thank you too.
So that's all from our side. And if in the interest of time, so we normally restrict this to 1 hour. Already we overshot by 29 minutes, which I can see.
Yes.
So in the interest of time, we close this session. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for your wonderful participation, and we look forward to see you again in our next boardroom talk with another guest. And Miles, before we leave, thank you very much for your wonderful contribution, and it's a very good insights from you, and we wish you all the best for UMB for your future digital endeavors, and we are happy to assist you in your digital channels and digital journey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amma and team. You all rock. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We rock. Thank you. Good evening, all. Thank you.
Good evening. Bye.